Okay, I think we're ready to go, Alyssa. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just actually, this little message gets on my screen and then I can't see everyone's faces. So I just have to click out of the message. Okay, so nice to see everyone again. If you could turn on your cameras, I would greatly appreciate it. If not, that's fine as well. It just makes the workshop a little more engaging since we can't be in person together. Again, my name is Alyssa. I work for Feeding Westchester. I'm Feeding Westchester's nutritionist for a program called Just Say Yes to Fruits and Vegetables. And today we're going to be talking about stretching food dollars. And I love when individuals participate. I find that we get so much more out of the workshop by giving one another some ideas that we have and that we practice in our regular lives, so we can just bounce the ideas off of one another. This is a safe learning environment. I won't call on anybody. Again, I just love when you participate on your own. I know that there's a chat box. Usually I open up my chat box on my phone and look down at times. If anybody just would like to read out any questions that somebody.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll monitor the chat, and if there's something, I'll let you know.
Okay, great, awesome. Otherwise, I find I'm looking down at my phone half the time, and I don't like to do that. So can anyone tell me, we're talking about stretching food dollars. So in your opinion, what are some foods that you might consider to be expensive or maybe too expensive to purchase?
I think most food has gone up, almost all food.
Very true.
I like fish, I like salmon, and I only buy it when it's on sale. But vegetables and fruits, they've all gone up in price.
But to your point with, and that's something that we can think about. If we know that there are certain foods that we like, we can always look online before we go food shopping to see which stores have which sales. Or if you know that you're somebody that likes salmon, maybe you're buying, how else besides fresh salmon can you eat salmon? There are other ways that we could consider eating salmon. I know I, for instance, will buy frozen salmon. This is a lot more, it can be a lot more cost effective. And I think I see you trying to, Mary is your name, I think. I think I see you trying to answer something, but your mute button is on.
Mary,
I don't like frozen salmon.
No, now you need to defrost it and cook it.
No, I've tried it from Trader Joe's and I don't like it. I'd rather buy the fresh.
That's fair. How about as far as like maybe just for lunchtime, maybe having canned salmon? That's another inexpensive way that you could add salmon to a meal, and like, yeah, again, a lot less expensive.
Okay.
Just some ideas of how you can incorporate the foods you love into your diet in a more cost-effective way. To me, I guess when I prepare my salmon, for some reason, I think it tastes about the same, fresh, frozen. Maybe my taste buds don't pick up on it. People's do. How about some other foods that we consider expensive? Any that might prevent us from eating as healthy as we would like to?
well, like chicken or meats, red meat could even be expensive.
If, of course, again, that's one of those things that we can, how can we get around it is by maybe looking in the circulars or going online for the different food stores and seeing what might be on sale and where. And so I know a lot of the time when I ask this question, I think somebody said something in the chat box.
Okay, I'll check.
Okay.
Fresh
see
and
it.
frozen. It says fresh and frozen, pretty similar, but canned is has a very different taste.
Yeah, that is very true. So I find that if I'm going to eat canned salmon or canned tuna, I'll add it to something like a salad, and mix it with like lemon juice or whatever, maybe balsamic vinaigrette. It definitely has a little bit stronger, not necessarily more fishy, but a little bit stronger of a flavor when it's in the can. So I find that if I mix it with salad or something like that, that you don't taste that different flavor so much. And of course, you're eating it cold when you're eating it in the can for the most part. I think most people would eat it cold. So it's just a different type of meal in general. It's just kind of like a way to get in those healthy foods that we know are good for our brains, like the salmon has high in omega-3s. So it's just a way to get in those different foods into our diets in a cost-effective way. So I know a lot of the time that when I ask this question, people say fresh fruits and vegetables are too expensive. And so I made up a little list of different fruits and vegetables, and I wanted you guys to guess at how much this list of items might cost you. So I have 7 apples, 12 ounces of broccoli, 2 cucumbers, 2 romaine hearts, a pound of baby carrots, and 7 bananas.
Oh.
How much do you think this list of items might cost you?
About $8 to $10.
$10?
About 8 to 10.
Okay, 8 to 10. Anyone else?
I said 15.
15.
3, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Mary's really taking a good guess at it. Oh, you turned on your mute button.
So maybe $16, $17, close to 15, you know.
Okay. All right, so these are all really good guesses. Actually, a lot of the time, I have a lot higher guesses. This list of items actually does cost $10. I went on a website and I think it was Shop and Stop and put a list of items together of produce that was on sale. I wanted to consider as single individual who will be buying items for themselves, who wouldn't want any food waste, of course. And something, list of items that they would have the right amount of fruits and vegetables in their diet for every single day during the course of the week. And just to show you that you can purchase a full range of fruits and vegetables at the cost of $10 over the course of a week. So just planning things in this type of way is a really great way to manage your food budget and be able to get in a nice variety of fruits and vegetables, and maybe make a salad each day of the week out of the broccoli, the cucumbers, the romaine hearts, and the baby carrots. And then have your 2 fruits separately, maybe an apple and a banana each day. So that being said, when you are going grocery shopping, what are some of your best practices to help you so that you don't overspend when you go to the grocery store?
review the circulars before you shop.
Absolutely.
Make
So
a list.
Stick to your list.
fix your list, absolutely. It's for me, a lot of time I'll put everything that I want into my virtual shopping cart on my phone. And then I'll go to this, so I'll plan in advance what I'm going to purchase by putting it on my shopping list on my phone, and then I'll go to the store and buy the items on my list. And this way I can stick to a budget of what I'd like to spend at the store. So I try and stick to that list. Of course, when we're at the store, sometimes we might remember something else that we need. That's okay, as long as we're mostly sticking to the list of the items that we purchased. What is maybe something silly, but something that we should try to do before we go shopping?
Oh, have a snack.
Yes. Please do not go shopping hungry. Because we're gonna go into that store and we're gonna see those cookies that are welcoming us in, and what are we going to want to buy?
Malamars.
Those pastries, those Malamars, those chips.
Malamars. Me
Are
too.
at the door. Yep. Another thing, so yes, of course, and so maybe you're somebody that is constantly on the go. You don't have, you're thinking to yourself, I'm going shopping at the end of my work day. I don't have a snack. Well, maybe one thing you could try to do is say, oh, today I'm gonna go shopping at the end of the day. I'm gonna just have a snack, maybe a granola bar in my bag, so that I have this snack on my way to the grocery store so I don't walk in hungry. Because we always end up buying more than we need when we go in hungry. So we're watching flyers for sales, we're eating before we go food shopping, we're making a grocery list and sticking to it. And what else is something that we can do? Keeping our kitchen cabinets organized. So we're not double buy, if we're going food shopping, we've made a list of the things, maybe we're meal planning for the week. We can go through our cabinets and see if any of the things that are in the recipes that we're preparing are maybe some of the ingredients are already in our cabinets, so that we don't end up buying those ingredients again, shoving those other cans to the back of the cabinet. Before you know it, those cans are expired. Now you double purchase the thing, it just, and it adds up quickly. Why not just use what we have in the house if we can? Something else, when you're at the store, maybe buying foods that are not prepared. I know this is, sometimes we do buy convenience foods that are already prepared, but as much as possible, just trying to keep those. I'm sorry.
I can no longer hear you.
Okay, I can hear you, Alyssa. I'm not sure why that's happening. Can everybody hear Alyssa? Okay,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
now you can hear, okay, okay.
Okay, good. So when we're at the store, we're trying our best to buy foods that are not prepared instead of convenience foods. For example, buying plain frozen vegetables instead of ones that are already prepared. For instance, even if you're in the frozen section and you're looking at what to purchase, and you have the choice between something that's in a sauce or not in a sauce, we want to try to purchase the thing that's not in the sauce. Not only will it be less expensive, most likely, but it'll also be better for our bodies. because those sauces tend to be higher in calories. They're kind of saturated in that way to try and, make you think that they taste good and make you continue to buy it. And then when you're down the aisles and you're shopping, you're looking at the different beans, peas, lentils to make low-cost soups and casseroles. What's another way that we can try and save money? Just simply by maybe buying the generic brands. They're essentially the same as the brand. And of course, we're looking at the shelves, we're comparing. Sometimes there's a sale on the brand name item. And so in that case, of course, we'll buy the brand name item versus the generic. But in general, the generic tends to be less expensive.
Maybe use coupons.
Absolutely, use coupons. And then, of course, buying our fruits and vegetables in season as much as possible. And maybe if you can't buy them in season, Mary, I think that you may be talking, but your mute button is on.
I'm not talking. I have a tremor.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
have a tremor. Sorry.
I'm sorry. So we're buying foods that are in season as much as possible, and when you're not able to, maybe buying the frozen version of the fruit or vegetable. So today we're going to be preparing an autumn fruit salad. So the recipe, and I can get you the recipe, of course. The recipe consists of grapes, and I have the whole grape here, of course, banana, apple, pear, and yogurt, which I actually am going to run and get it because I didn't want to leave it in my refrigerator so that I would stay cold. I will be right back with you. Okay. So right here I have, the recipe actually calls for low-fat vanilla yogurt. When I see a vanilla or a flavored yogurt in a recipe, I always try and substitute it for the plain low-fat yogurt. Does anyone know why I might do that? So I do it because the plain low-fat yogurt doesn't have any added sugar, whereas the vanilla or any flavored yogurt will be really high in added sugar. So for this one, the total sugar content is 5 grams of sugar, and that's for 3/4 of a cup. Whereas probably for 3/4, don't quote me on this, but probably for 3/4 of a cup of vanilla flavored yogurt, probably somewhere around 12 grams with added sugar. So that's pretty significant, the difference. It could even be higher. So the recipe actually calls for 2 apples, 2 pears, a banana, 2 cups of grapes. I am actually going to be cutting the recipe in half today. I'm just preparing it for, I guess, whoever is going to end up eating it in my home. So if I were with everybody, and eventually hopefully we'll have an in-person workshop all together, of course I will prepare the entire recipe. But actually, you'd be, even when I do prepare this recipe for a group of like 10 people, I've actually cut the recipe in half and there's still plenty and we end up having leftovers. Sometimes I can give people seconds. Before we started today, I cut up my grapes just to save us some time. But essentially, we're taking the whole grape, we're just cutting it in half and putting it right into the bowl. And so here, I will measure out my grapes. I'm gonna measure out about a half a cup of grapes. Put it right into my bowl. And then I'm gonna cut up my pear. I'm just gonna cut it in half. Make sure I'm not making sure to cut the seeds away. And just slicing it lengthwise. I don't know if you guys can see what I'm doing. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm just turning it the other way and cutting it into little cubes. Does anyone know why I may have wanted to share this recipe today? Based on the ingredients. So it's a really sweet recipe. And without even trying, it's apples, pears, grapes, banana, cinnamon, and yogurt. Two other ingredients that are actually in the recipe that I leave out, in addition to, of course, I said I substitute the plain low-fat yogurt. I actually leave out apple cider, which it calls for about a tablespoon of apple cider. I leave that out because I don't think it needs any more sweetness than it's already so sweet. Just cut it up. And so I wanted to share this recipe with you because of course we're coming upon the holidays. People may be trying to think of maybe a more health conscious dessert idea. So I thought that this is a really good opportunity to share something that's healthy but super sweet, really delicious to have at the end of a meal. But really, this is a great meal that you could have any time of the day, any time of the year. You could have it for breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever the case may be. I also find that it's a great snack. Maybe you've gone exercising or something like that and you want some protein after your exercise and restore some of the nutrients that you may have lost while you were exercising. This is a really great way to restore. So I'm just slicing up the banana. Getting it right in. And then my last step, or not my last step, the last thing I'll be cutting up is my apple. I'm using a gala apple today. You can use any apple that you have. Does anyone have a favorite? No favorite apple?
I think I asked you the last time, where did you get your measuring things that collapse like that?
I bought them on Amazon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think I've seen them like in Bed Bath and Beyond. I think that the first ones that I got that are like this, I think I got them in Bed Bath and Beyond.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm always on the go with these nutrition workshops that I teach. So I like things to be as small as possible, small and compact as possible. Just cutting up the apple just like I did with the pear. I cut it lengthwise and then I turn it around, holding it together and cut it widthwise so they get nice little cubes.
This is like my oatmeal in the morning. I put all these things into my oatmeal.
Yeah, and I was actually saying that this is, you know, you could stick this whole thing with the yogurt and all right on top of oatmeal. Why not? And if you're a cinnamon lover, then you would absolutely love this recipe. And it goes across, you know, I've made this recipe for all different cultural groups as well. And everybody seems to love it equally. So I love that about it as well. You
don't put nuts in there, right?
So that is something that is an optional ingredient, is slivered almonds. But of course you could add walnuts or pecans, whatever nuts you have on hand, if you like to add nuts to things. And it is a great addition. It adds some more fiber, it adds some more protein. Makes the meal go a little bit further. And you know, it gives you the opportunity to add nuts into a recipe, whereas, you know, just eating nuts by themselves, they don't go very far. So, and nuts are a really important part of our diets, but a lot of people say, oh, I don't want to have nuts because they're too high in calories. But if you add it to something, you won't eat too many. And so you'll end up eating the right amount of calories for your needs because they'll be mixed in with something else. So you get the flavor, the texture, the taste that you love about nuts without having too many. And having them as like maybe slivered almonds or crushing them up or chopped up or whatever the case may be. Of course, again, that's another way to make them go further. So the recipe calls for a teaspoon of cinnamon. I'm just gonna sprinkle some in. You can measure it out as well.
But what's that you just sprinkled?
Cinnamon.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
cinnamon is good.
Yeah,
Cinnamon
I love
is good.
cinnamon. You know what? I'm also gonna try it one time. I'm gonna try a different seasoning. I think I'm gonna try putting turmeric in it. I won't. Yeah, because that's something that I find that I don't add enough to my anything that I make.
Mhm.
So maybe this would be a good opportunity.
Very healthy.
No,
So
well, for diet,
for 1 cup of yogurt for the entire recipe, so I'm gonna do about a half a cup. Have that half a cup right there, add it in. Mix it all up. And then you can see what it looks like. If you are making this for a group of people, I probably would recommend making it not in a clear bowl. Just because has the yogurt in it, and it probably just might look nicer in a solid color bowl. So it doesn't look as messy with the yogurt clinging to the sides. Just for no other reason than just aesthetic appeal. And that's it. We'll let you take a look at what I prepared. I wish that you could smell how good it smells and taste how delicious and sweet it is. So that is it.
Looks
Very-
yummy.
Looks yummy, he was right.
Does anybody have any questions? Anything that they want to share, anything that they might add or take away? And we talked about adding it maybe to oatmeal, maybe adding some nuts. I heard,
I still can't believe that you paid only $10 for all those items.
yeah, that's a great thing about planning. So we plan, we can get so much more for our money. So if anyone ever has any questions, I don't know if you could see my email at the bottom here.
You know what? I think if you can move it to the center, yeah.
Okay. Oh,
No, now it's off screen.
So
So,
my email's at the bottom.
Westchester.org. Okay.
Yeah, A. Advincula at feedingwestchester.org.
Okay.
and if you lose it, you could always call me or email me and I can get that to you as well.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, well, if nobody has any questions, I hope to see everybody next time.
I love the recipe from last time, Alyssa. And it was the way you printed it out on the PDF. It was
Oh, yeah.
it was like it reminded me of a page that belonged in a recipe book or something. So I have it with my recipes now. But that was great. So looking forward to your fruit salad recipe as well.
Yes, I will definitely send it to you. I love this recipe. It's so good.
Okay. Mary, let's unmute Mary.
Oh,
What did I
thank you
call
very much. Very good.
Just so you guys know, this was the second lecture in a series of 3 that we're doing with Alyssa. So she's going to come back next month, December 16th. And the topic next month will be understanding nutrition labels, something like that.
Yes, yes.
So
Yep.
that sounds good, right? That's some good, we'll get some good practical advice, understanding what we're reading when we go to the supermarket. So it's very, very helpful. So that's December 16th. And I think that calendar is coming out probably next week. So you guys can sign up when you're ready.
Okay.
I
Thank you
actually
very
have a
much.
question.
A question? Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Ben. The question relates to, I guess, fish that you had talked about at the very beginning. And my concern is this. I read somewhere that farm fish is not very good because they are fed with fish meal. And a lot of the fish meal actually came from polluted water. So if we are what we eat, I try not to eat farm fish because of that reason. What are your comments on this?
You know what, this is not my exact area of expertise, but what I would say is that some fish is better than no fish, and I think research in general shows that, and when I say some fish is better than no fish, I'm referring to the fish that has been shown to have excellent effects on our brain health and such, on our blood health, such as salmon and cod, tuna. These things are high in omega-3s. So research doesn't necessarily, not that, as far as I'm aware of, it doesn't support anything about these fish being impacted by what they're being fed necessarily at this juncture. I mean, things always are evolving and changing, and maybe it's not something that at this point I'm aware of. Maybe later on it will be. But I think overall, the benefits of eating fish like salmon and cod and sardines, things like that, that are very high in omega-3s, the benefits outweigh any possible other commentary about what they're eating.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned sardine because sardine is not a farm fish. So that is something I could look into. But what are the sources of omega-3 fatty acid that it's not from fish? Can you shed some light on that?
Sure, I think walnuts are very high in omegas, flaxseed, chia seeds. There's a lot of different sources, but fish actually is the bioavailable form of omega-3s to us.
Okay, walnut, chia seed, and flaxseed. Okay, that's something I could look into. I stopped eating tuna a long time ago because of the mercury, and I don't eat farm fish because I know I believe that they are fed with fish meal from the Baltic Sea. The catch there doesn't get sold to consumer, but get ground up as fish food. And the Baltic Sea is a pretty polluted place. Anyway, I'm glad to be able to look into flaxseed, chia seed, and walnut. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So if I could just add to that, this is the librarian in me speaking. For anybody who's concerned about fish levels, fish and toxicity levels, there is the environmental working group that actually monitors the levels of toxicity in fish and stuff. So that might be a good website for you to look at. And because I do think it changes over time and they follow it pretty closely. So it's the environmentalworkinggroup.org. I know they're based in California. Okay.
Environmentalworkinggroup.org. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alyssa. Hope to see you in December. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Alyssa, thank you. This is wonderful. Thank you again. Oh, so much good information.